It was a B-24, it was an E model. It was built by Ford Motor Company at Willow Run, Michigan. The design was by Consolidated Aviation, but because of the war, they wanted to build a lot of these in a big hurry. So Ford built their plant there, and they just, I mean, they stamped them out like cookies, 1 per hour off the assembly line. Pocatello was a training base for bomber crews and later fighter pilots that were going to go overseas into combat, and they had these planes out there for training. So this particular plane took off, I think, around 8 in the morning, and when they were done, the pilot noticed that the engines were running kind of funny. They lost electrical power. They thought something was wrong with the engines, so they shut 2 of them down. The other 2 would continue to run, but not very well. And a B-24 running on 2 engines, they can't maintain altitude, so they gradually lost altitude. They're looking for a good place to put the plane down because they knew they couldn't make it back to the base. They spotted the, you know, brushy, flat area and tried to come in for landing, but they didn't have enough power, came up short and hit the rocks. The 3 gunners in the rear bailed out. There was a small hatch in the bottom of the plane called a camera hatch. So these 3 fellows jumped out at 500 feet.
He didn't like to talk about it because it was, I guess, a horrific scene when he got here. I mean, he was the first one here, him and one of his sheep herders. They watched the plane circle, watched the guys parachute out of the back, watched the plane literally explode right at this point. And they got right here, they had a pickup. My dad was a foreman, and he was out here servicing a sheep camp, and he brought the sheep herder with him, and they were involved in the rescue of the men and the actual recovery of the bodies. That's kind of the story he told, but he didn't want to talk about the details. He just said it was a horrible, horrible scene. I think at one point he said that the pilots were still strapped in their seats, which, you know, terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah, this is kind of an unusual sight. We don't find these every day. I really appreciate people from the public who have an interest in historical sites and preserving those historical sites. It makes my job a lot easier when someone's willing to volunteer to do that kind of work, because a lot of times we don't have the freedom to spend a lot of time on a project like this. So it helps me a lot to have volunteers to help that have that preservation ethic.
It's good to leave something for future generations to find, to look at, and really it's a war memorial, you know, because a lot of these guys didn't get Purple Hearts, they didn't get any recognition. Their families got a telegram saying they were killed in training, and then their remains were sent home. That was it. So it's a memorial. It should be treated with respect. Pieces shouldn't be removed.
World War II has come and gone, and there are only so many remnants left of it on the landscape. And as I said, this is a really rare kind of site. So it's something we want to preserve because there just aren't very many of them around.